Welcome to my latest playthrough. This is the Napoleonic Wars solitaire board war game, as you can see, by Ben Madison. This is part of a trilogy of games. I've done a previous playthrough on Mrs. Thatcher's War, which is the third of those. And the first one, which I don't own, is Don't Tread on Me, about the American Revolution, or the War of Independence, whatever they want to call it. Whatever the colonials want to call it. So I played this twice, and it's a bit like Mrs. Thatcher's War. It's difficult to win, although I played twice. I lost the first time, I won the second, but I did make a number of errors and omissions, which will have affected the game. Nothing major, but it will have affected it slightly. So yeah, I won, but I can't really claim it as a definitive win. The rules are fairly straightforward and they're laid out very well, and I will try and follow them as I'm going through the turns, because it's easy to miss little bits. One thing I keep missing is when Napoleon goes to one of the other nations, he has the option, well, he has the chance, depending on the dice roll, of taking the Imperial Guard with him. And I keep forgetting to roll for that. Little things like that, which do obviously have an effect. Everything has an effect on the game. But it's a very good game. Gives you like Mrs. Thatcher's War, gives you the thematic feel of the Falklands War. This gives you the theme of the Napoleonic times. And the aim of the game is to force Napoleon to abdicate before turn 16 is up. Now, I'm going to do the setup today. Play the first turn, maybe a bit more. We'll see. Anybody's seen my playthroughs, I tend to explain a lot more detail early on, and then hopefully we can start to skip through the turns quicker. Now, it does say a turn should take 10 minutes, or can take 10 minutes. Well, most of my turns take longer than 10 minutes, and I've seen other people say the same thing, so don't expect to get your turn done in 10 minutes. On with the setup. As you can see, I've got all the counters on this side. Now, what is very good about the game is this is the call it the counter trainer. This is where you put them at the start. So, for instance, on here you can see there's an H. They all have H on the back. So as you're setting it up, you put them all there. You can see C and J are upside down because they come into play at certain times, and you do it blind. There's also, I'll be putting some counters in these cups as well in a few minutes. But yeah, I like this way of doing it because it makes it very easy. Then when you get to the setup, which I'll just move to now, there's 3 games: scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. Basically, these are just shortened versions of the full one. I've only played the full version, which starts at turn 0. So let me move that back. You can't quite see that board in there, but I will move it towards it as I do, because once we've got these on the board, some counters will be in there and they'll be brought in at certain points and taken off. You don't need to see that as much. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do is follow this through now, and as you see, it uses all the letters, so it makes it very, very easy to set up. Really like this way of doing it. So first thing, box D, place the 3 green square chits, 2 No War and Treaty of San Ildefonso, in the High Politics cup. So that's one of these cups. So let's just, this is where I have to check for around there. So there's a Treaty of San Ildefonso, so that goes in there. We need a couple of No War chits. These keep getting added to there as the game goes on. There's another No War there, so we're looking for one more. What you will find as well is that not all the things that can happen, there's my third and final one, so not all the events and things that can happen will happen. For instance, the San Ildefonso chip that I've just put in there, that event has never occurred in the other 2 games, so I don't actually know what effect that has. Some events are bound to occur. There's certain things happen on here. You can see some of these have different things on, which you then go into the scenario book and it tells you what actions to take. But yes, some events are down to chance. Box E. Place the Imperial Guard, which is this counter, in its designated shaded box, which is there. That stays in there and it comes into play at certain points in the game. All of the French corps placed in the French Corps Cup, which is this one. So what we're going to do is just transfer all the Napoleonic armies into this cup here. So there you go there. So they're the two cups that we use. Box F. All duchy forces are placed in the player force pool. Now duchy forces are there. I'm just going to swing that across there because the player force pool is there. These duchy forces. See, I've got them in stacks of 3. Now, all these are... There's no difference. Ignore the flags on them. That's just for the theme. They're all counted the same. When you put them on the board, you have to pay for them. And when you put them onto this tray, you pay to use them, to actually raise the armies. And they come in stacks of 3. So the reason I've got them set out like this is this is the way I like to have them. But you can have them in any order you want. You see, the strongest ones in the Dutch force are 3. I tend to keep most of those together. But you can do it however you want. So that's the duchy forces. All Russian war markers are placed on the map in the Russian war brown boxes, which are the Finland, Caucasus, Balkans and Corfu. So you've got the Russian war markers, and you can see the Russian flags here. Doesn't matter. The Russian war markers are all the same, so they just go on there. Not Russia. We've got Finland there. And where am I missing one? Corfu. There it is. Place the Treasury, Admiralty, Budget and Minor War Fund markers in the 0 box, the turn record track. So these 3 markers, after I said it was easy to set up, where are they? Why do I not look and see what it tells me on the box I? Sorry, box I. So these change at each turn because on these all go in the 0 box. Treasury, Admiralty, Budget and Minor War Fund. So they all go in there. Box K. In their respective status boxes on the map, place the Spain coalition, Prussia coalition, Austria coalition, Sweden neutral and Russia neutral markers. So let's find it. So we've got the Spain coalition, that starts in the coalition. We've got the Austrian coalition, so that starts in the coalition as well. Prussia coalition. So we start out, as you see, we start out quite strong. Sweden neutral. For instance, in the last game I played, when I said things like Sweden just stayed neutral, it never came into the game. And Russia starts as neutral as well. Where's the Russian neutral one? There are actually separate markers, so you'll get a Prussia surrender and a Prussia neutral counter. There is no difference. It's merely for theme, so they have the same effects. Now, box L. All 4 red diplomats are placed in the London box. So, 4 London diplomats go in here. Box M. So place Talleyrand and Reinhard in the Germany green box. France has 2 named diplomats. They start there, and the rest go in the hotel. I keep knocking the counters over. I do that regularly. So we've got that. Place the atheist marker in the religion of France box. So there we've got the atheist marker. The royalists start in France and the emigre in Germany. So we've got the two emigre armies and the royalists. We're starting in 1792 as the revolution was in full swing. All Prussians go to the player force pool. So we have got our Prussian counters there. They go into the force pool here. And we have the same for the Austrians, the Spanish and the British, because they're all in the coalition. Oops. So with the Spanish, the British, let's put these over here. Spanish counters, and finally the Austrians. So they all start available to us. All that can and will change as the turns go on. The Russians don't go in there because they start neutral. So the Russian forces, they are strong, the Russian forces, go in the neutral force pool here. The £4 coin, number of coins here, £4 coin goes over that £3. And the £1 trade markers go wherever there's a gold coin. So in Ireland, Haiti, Cape of Good Hope, Mysore, and finally Egypt. Nearly done now. The further markers are placed on the turn record track as follows. Now that is the weight behind the revolution basically in each of the countries, and this swings throughout the game and has a major impact on the battles that take place. So where are the further markers? Here we go. There's 5 further markers. So these go on the turn track. So we've got the German, starts on 14. The Austrian starts on 12. The Spanish on 12. The French, the highest, on 16, which is the maximum to get to, as you'd imagine. And the Italians are on 14. Very anti-monarchist feelings at the time. Unfortunately, our aim is to defeat the revolution, so we are the monarchists in this one. And then the Burr Nation marker goes into France green box. Looks like but it's pronounced Burr, which means objective or goal. So that will change. It'll swing between these nations here. I'm quite impressed I haven't had a cat fight actually. I've got both cats in the room at the moment, and although the brother and sister, they do not like each other, so keep half expecting a big fight across the table anytime. So that's in the green box. The game turn marker goes in box number 1. And the ghetto laws marker goes there in the Jews of Euro box. And this is the one you need to get up. The Napoleon abdicates marker goes in the 0 box. That's the one we need to get up to 16. Nelson and the Royal Navy going to the High Seas box. And where else have we got to go? Place the terror marker in France, the Pope in Italy, and place the light infantry marker on the face of Bernadotte on the light infantry track, which I'd always pronounce Bernadotte as Bernadotte, so this game taught me that I was pronouncing that wrong all this time. And once I realised that, I felt a bit stupid because obviously it's Bernadotte. Okay, so that is set up done. So these will all come in, but we're focusing more on this part here, because this is the crux of the game. And if I forget to swivel it across, it's not the end of the world if you don't see that side, whereas you need to be seeing these really. Now, I'm going to keep referring to the turns, just to make sure, like I say, doing the playthrough, I don't want to miss things if I can help it, obviously. So, right, sorry, my cat. I jinxed it because my cat is now attacking a bookcase. It's not the cleverest, this one, or the cat's. So, first part is the height. There is a, sorry, I should have explained that. There is a player aid card as well, with the sequence of play, and then the random accidents table. This comes in at the end of every turn. You have various events. If you played one of the Ben Madison games, you'll know that happens in the Mrs. Thatcher War game as well. So, what we've got first is the high politics phase, where we get our money. So what we add, for control in London, you get £4. As long as that marker's in there, then it drops to 3. But also, £2 for Prussia and Austria, if they're in the coalition. You can see a little £2 marker in each of those. And £1 for each trade coin marker anywhere on the map, which we've got 5 of them at the moment, which is the most you can have. You do get £1 for each cultural icon currently in London, which comes in later in the game. So I'll tell you about that later. So first turn, we've got 4 plus 4 for London, 4 for having Austria and Germany. Germany and Prussia are one and the same, by the way, in this game. So you've got the German nation there, but it's Prussia is the armies. And then we've also got 5 for the trade coins. So we're starting with 13. And now we can move money between the Treasury, the Minor War Fund and the Admiralty budget. The one stipulation is once money's gone into the Admiralty budget, the Royal Navy like to keep it, so you can't ever take money out of the naval pool. You can swap between the Minor War one and the Treasury, and you can add to the Admiralty, but Nelson keeps his cash. So I'm going to put £4. Should really thought this is bad when I'm deliberating on the first one. I'm going to put £3 in the naval budget, Admiralty budget, so that drops to 10. And I'm going to put £4 in the Minor War Fund, so your Treasury drops by 4. So we've got £6 in the Treasury, £4 in the Minor War Fund, £3 in the Admiralty budget. That's that. Now, the next thing we do is we designate the Bear Nation, which it tells you on each turn where it is. So it changes time. It's in France. We've already put it in France because the game set up for this one. Then we perform any printed events. So Valmy or Valmy. So we get the scenario up. And we look down here. In a tiny battle near the German border, European aristocrats are shocked to discover that revolutionary France will actually fight for his existence. Add Switzerland, Cape of Good Hope, and 1 random ATAT to the High Politics Cup. Then place the Russian nobility blocking scroll in the Russian status box. So we need, let's move across to these. So what wars do we need? Switzerland, Cape of Good Hope. The Cape of Good Hope is there. So that, oh, Switzerland is there as well. So these two go in here. And then one random ATAT, which will chuck that in there. Obviously they've got different backs, you just have to, I do it without looking, as you'll have seen in many of my other playthroughs hopefully. So that's, they go in there, and we have the Russian Nobility Blocking Scroll, which is somewhere in here, there we go. That goes in the Russian status box, which is there. Now let me read what it says about that to you. 6-3. Any scroll, Russian Nobility, Treaty of Tilsit or Peace of Basel, in a status box is called a blocking scroll. These markers are only placed by accidents or events and may only be removed by other accidents or events. If a blocking scroll is in a country status box, you may not align the country. So basically, while that is there, I cannot try to bring Russia into the coalition. It may happen due to an event, but I can't physically do it. And you'll see how we do that, how that happens as it goes on, because trust me, these two won't stay in the coalition all the time. They will end up surrendering, becoming neutral, then I have to bring them back into the fold. The Spanish can become an ally of the French through events. They won't surrender. The British stay in the coalition all the time, as do the Duchy forces. So that's the event for that. Most, as you can see here, most turns have an event, some towards the end. No events on some of these later on. We now draw and play 1, 0, 1, 2 or 3 high politics chits, which are in here. The way it's, there's a little number in here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's how many we draw. I draw them one at a time. So let's spin that round, I'm looking away. There we go. And that's good, we've got no war for the first one. So nothing happens. Now we've got one more. There's only one more no war chit in here at the moment, so the chances are we will not be drawing another no war. No, we're not. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Treaty of San Ildefonso, which I said I'd never drawn before. So let's just put that there. And for all the events, it tells you there's a little bit on here. So let's have a read. Put the marker in Spain, which makes Spain a French minor ally, so we've lost the Spanish straight away. Replace the Spain coalition marker in the Spain status box with the Spain French marker. Place both Spanish corps in the French corps cup, treat them as French. The player can rebuild them. Hang on, sorry, I'm just going, just lost my play then. Place both Spanish corps in the French corps cup, treat them as French allied units, remove all player, including Duchy forces from Spain, well we haven't got any in there at the moment, and put them in the player force pool. The player can rebuild them at any time. Finally, discard any ATAT marker in Spain, none have been drawn yet, so no new ATATs can be built in Spain as long as the treaty is there. Here we go. So, the treaty goes in, this marker goes in Spain. We look for the, you probably can't see me doing this, but I'm getting the Spanish, Spain-French marker. So then we've got the 2 armies of the Spanish. They go in this cup, along with all the French ones. So already we've lost, only at the start of the first turn, and we've already lost 2 of our armies. But that's the 2 high politics chits done. So we now move on to the diplomacy page. Rolls are now made to send 2 of the French diplomats to green boxes in Europe. Roll 2 dice and place 1 diplomat from the hotel in each corresponding numbered green box. So that's a 1 France, 2 Germany, 3 Austria, 4 Italy, 5 Spain and 6 France, although because that's the Bear Nation, that number 6 varies throughout the game. At the moment it's France. If these 2 weren't on the board, they would take priority. The first one to come out is Talleyrand, and then it's Reinhard, but they are both on the board. They're harder to get rid of than a normal diplomat. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. And we've got a 5 and a 3, which I think you can see there. So all these diplomats are the same. So we've got 5 goes in Spain, and a 3 goes in Austria. Okay. Now I'm going to use my 4 diplomats. There's other uses for them, but I'm going to try and get rid of these diplomats, because each diplomat that's in a country, when we come to the army phase, means we pick one army out of here and put it in that nation. So what I'm going to do, there's 2 valued at 3, you can see at the top there, and the other 2 are valued at 4, and you'll see, I'll explain what I'm doing. So that one's going there, that one's going to attack that diplomat, and these 2 that are rated 4 are going after Talleyrand and Reinhard. I have to pay £1, to take it for each diplomat to get to wherever it's going, and they've got that value on them. So the treasury is going down to £2, so we've not got a lot of cash left. Now, they've all got a number on 3, 3, 4, 4. For each one, I make a roll, and if it's the number or lower, so for this one, 1, 2 or a 3, I remove that diplomat. For these 2, it's a bit different because Reinhardt has a value of 1, Talleyrand has a value of 2, so that is deducted from my dice roll. How is it? No, it's not deducted from my dice roll. That will make it easier. What it does is, well, he's a 4, but he's going to attack Reinhard. Obviously, when I say attack, I mean verbally, not having a fight. So Metternich would have to roll a 3 or lower because you take that 1 off. And to get rid of Talleyrand, he'd have to roll a 2 or lower. So I'm going to start with Spain. So 1, 2 or a 3 to get rid of it. And it's a 4. So not effective. So I just put it, he stays there, so just put that there. We're going to do the other one here now. So again, we need a 1, 2 or a 3. And a 3. So we are successful. So that one goes back to the hotel. So we've got rid of 1. Now I'm going to do Reinhard first. So 4 minus 1. So we need a 1, 2 or a 3 here. No. So we don't get rid of him. Castlereagh. Got Talleyrand. We need a 1 or a 2. And we've got 2. So not bad. 50-50 score. So that guy, I put him on top because he will be the first one to come back into play next turn. So let's just put those there. So that's could have been worse. Now you would normally have the option of trying to align in a surrendered or neutral country. We can't do that with Spain. We can only do it with Prussia, Austria and Russia. But Russia has the blocking scroll on it, so there's nothing we could have done anyway there. So can't do that. So we move straight on to the Grande Armée phase. First things first. Le Patrie en danger, which is my terrible French there. So at the start of the army phase, we deploy 4 random French corps from the French Corps into France. So we just take 4 out of here. Oh, I'll take that one because it turned over. So, so we've got 4, got a cavalry unit, a 4, another cavalry unit's 5, and a Spanish unit's in there, 5 as well. So let's put those there. We'll talk more about this as we go along anyway. Who does what? So now Burnation forces deploy a stack of 4 random French corps from the French Corps in the current turn's Burnation, which is France also. So let's have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there's a lot of armies in France at the moment. Actually, I always put that there because there is a chance the Burnation forces move, whereas those will stay static. So I'll put them in the top right to remind me. Now, diplomatic forces. For each French diplomat, pick 1 random French corps and place it in that nation. Do this in order: France, Germany, Austria, Italy, Spain. So you basically go around clockwise. So there's no diplomats in France, but there is one in Germany. So let's pick this marker. So we've got a 4. No Austria, no, but we have got one in Spain. So that's a 4. So we've got that, and then finally, the French invasion table. We roll 1 die on the French invasion table, and add the current turn number to the die roll. And then we do what it says. So let's have a look here. This is it. So French invasion table. Napoleonic table. Don't do anything at the moment. That's later in the game. But Napoleon, it's 1792. This is for his victory at what's the name of the battle where he made his name? One in France during the Revolution. That's really going to annoy me, but it's not important. But basically, Napoleon isn't the leader at the moment. So, Toulon, Siege of Toulon. That makes me feel better. That was irrelevant, but that makes me feel better than I remembered it. So, let's roll, and then I'll show you what to do. So, we've got a 3. +1 for the turn, so we're on 4. So, we get 3 markers in Italy, 2 in Spain, 1 in Germany. If we ever don't have enough forces in the cup, the French lose further. It doesn't happen early in the game, that, so that's one for later. So, yeah, so 4. So Italy, let's pick 3 here. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 there. 2 in Spain. A couple there to go with that one that's already there, and 1 to go in Germany. So another one there. Now, what we have to do here with our forces, we have to control the nations. If at the end of the turn we are not in control of Germany or Austria, or rather, is it France? Let me just double check the actual wording of that. Yeah, it's not if I don't have any troops in there. For instance, if it stayed like that at the moment, there's no French, no coalition, it'd be all right. But if there's French troops on their own in there, and at the end of a turn you'll only end up with 1, either the coalition or the French troops in. Yeah, if so, say this ended and they've gone and the French are there, Germany would surrender. So all their troops will go into the neutral force pool. So it's particularly important to keep control of Germany and Austria. If at the end of the fighting phase you control 3 nations, one of which is the Burnation, that one, then the Napoleon abdicates marker moves up 1. Remember, we've got to get up to 16. So that is the aim. This is the tricky one, because there's a value here, and I'm just going to make a note of their scores. If Napoleon was on the board, we'd be rolling to add other troops after I've placed mine, which adds that randomness to it. So you can't make plans. This first turn isn't too bad. We know what we'll be up against. So I'm just going to add these. So 5, 11, 17, 23, 28, 32, 36, 41. So France has got 41 strength. Italy is 14. Spain 11. Don't need to do this now, it's just to help me when I'm placing my troops. Germany 10, Austria none. So although we are penalised if we don't take these because of further increases, the main thing is to get these three. But we know nothing's in Austria. So I need 41. Oh, also, sorry. You can't always place all troops everywhere. So this tells you Prussian, Austrian and Russian troops can go in. The British can't go in there. British, Russian, Prussian and Austrian. Just the British and the Spanish in this one. British, Russian or Austrian in this one. Any of them can go in this one. But you can only put troops in France if it's the Burr Nation or if the Paris marker is on the board, which comes in later on, well, much later on in the game. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm actually, no, I've only got £2, so I don't want to use a lot of Duchy forces. Ah, yeah, sorry. Each stack of Duchy force, it costs me £1 to put it on the board. The British, the Prussians and the Austrians are free. So we've got the Germans a value of 10, but we've already got a value of 5 here with the emigre markers, which only come on at certain times. So I'm going to put some Prussians in here. We have a 10. So we've got, I'm going to put value of 13 there. Plus that, so they've got value of 18, so they're 8 in front at the moment. Again, I'm just going to make notes on this. I've not, this is the first time I started making notes on this. That one's going to go in there. And the Austrians, I think I'm going to place I'm actually going to put the Duchy force in Austria. I'm going to pay £1 to do that, which just gets them on the board. Because there is a chance that the French may try to retreat into Austria, so I want to try and... I will, because they'll always retreat towards France as the first option. See what I'm going to do. Those I'm going to put in there, so we've got 9. I put, which then means I'm going to put these 3 in here. So we've got 10 value there already, and we've now got 9, 15, 20. So we've got 20. So we're 10 up on. In Germany. I know these numbers won't make sense at the moment, but you will see what they mean in a little while. I'm just wondering whether to put any... Let's see what we've got here. So the French have got 41 in there, and at the moment we've got a value of 10. So the Austrians, their total forces 11, 13, 15. So that makes us up to 25 in France. We're still well behind here. And another 13, so 38. Oh, plus that, so we're at 41, we're level. That's not enough. 41's not enough. So we move that over. 47, so we're 6 up. Still don't like those odds, but I can't do a lot else. Oh, can I? Yeah, that's not good enough. There's a thing we could do is accept we're not going to get the abdicates marker up this turn. I don't want to do that. So I'm checking that I can place duchy forces in France if I wanted to. No, I can't. So yeah, it's very dodgy there. There's not a lot. I'm not gonna go for France. I'm gonna try and get rid of all the others. So I'm gonna get 19 in there against the 11 from the Spanish. That one, I've already paid for that, so I'm moving it. So that's 9 plus the, what did I say that was? 19. Plus, it's 28. So we're 17 up in that one. 10 there. 5. So I'm going to put all the Prussians in there, I think. That royalist counter is going to get wiped out. I can't move that one. These are 11, 13, 14. What we have here? 11, 15. So I'm not even going to place that. So we're going to let them take Italy this turn. We're on 10 there. What have we got? 3, 7, 10, 16, 21. 21, yeah, that'll do that. So first of all, let's start with Spain. Let's do Spain. I've deliberated far too much on this first, so my apologies for this. So I need to get on with things now. Okay, so the first thing we do is we roll for light infantry. So this basically tells us how many we will be rolling for. So I'm going to roll the white dice. Spanish fervour is at 12, so we're against here. And there will be things that may alter this roll, but at the moment there isn't anything, so I won't talk about that. So let's just roll it. It's a 3. I think you can see that, is it? Blocked. So we've got a 3. So 1, 2, 3. So it's French domination. So we only get to roll the white die. And we have a strength advantage in Spain of 17. They're 11. We're 28. So let's roll the die. Oh, and it's a 1. Not what we wanted. So 17 plus 1, 18. French retreat. All French units retreat. Now, it tells you where they go to retreat from Spain. The French retreat to France. It's all in the rules, tells you where. And so it's nice and simple with this one. That goes into there. And the Spanish fervour, because they lost a battle, the French, their appetite for revolution has gone down by 1. So they're down to 11. The next one, I've got the other cat breaking the bookcase now. So the Austrians have got that. So we've got this one, Germany, strength. Their strength is 10, ours is 21. But first, we roll to see how many dice we roll. German fervour is at 14. No modifiers on this. 5 or 6 means we roll 2 dice. So that's what we can do with, and we've got 5. So we're going to roll in the white and the blue dice. We have an advantage of 11. Let's increase it. Plus another 5. So we're on 16. Same, French retreat. And where is it? Retreat from Germany. The French retreat to the easiest destination. Now we'll work that out. And there's a, you can see there. And the first choice is France, which they can retreat to. So the French retreat into France. So we've not taken any forces out, but they've all been pushed back into France, except for the French here. Now, further drops by 1 in Germany, because we've defeated the French. And that, oh no, sorry, we have this battle here, which is extremely one-sided. And there is no point rolling, but I will. There is actually. But we'll end up here with a French pursuit, potentially. The French are on 41. The Germans have moved in there, 51. The Spanish have moved in there, 61, 62. Now, against our score of 3. So 62 against 3. What you do, you see, is you take our strength and then you subtract theirs, as you've seen in the other games, but theirs is so big, we then subtract 59, which is their advantage. Even if we're rolling 3 dice, which we're not going to be, most will give us 18, so it's going to be a negative score. But it does depend whether the French try to come after us, so I'll show. We don't want a 1 or a 2 here, but let's go through the process. So the French fervour is at 16. We roll 1 dice to see where we go to on here, and it's a 5, so it's French domination. We just roll 1 die. So 4. So we score 4, then we subtract 59, so we've got a score minus 55. So as you can see, French pursuit. All coalition retreat. French may pursue if the white die is 1 or 2. It's not. Thank God. Because they are going to retreat into the safety of Germany. That's my choice, I believe, on the retreat. Yeah, coalition units must retreat to Germany or Italy. This is mine. Unless they're all British, pro-coalition Spanish and Dutchy force. In that case, they may choose to retreat to Spain. Which now, because if I retreated them to here, they'd end up in another battle and lose again. And yeah. So that's the end of the fighting. So let's move to the next stage. We've got control of Germany, Austria, so they stay in the coalition. Russia's not. There is a effect. Win over cultural icons. We've not got those on the board yet, so don't worry about that. Now, we've told you about the key to winning is Napoleon abdicates marker. So to control a nation, well, explain about control a nation. Now, for us to move the Napoleon abdicates marker on one, we have to control 3 nations, one of which must be the Boer nation. Now, we do control 3 nations, but not the Boer nation, so we don't move it on. Now there is, now this would have hit us here, because if we don't meet the objective and there are no French in the casualties box, which there aren't, then reduce Napoleon abdicates by -1 instead. But Napoleon abdicates is on 0, so it can't go down anymore, so we got away with that one. So there's nothing happens there. Then we would check for victory at this point, obviously far too early at the moment. We now move on, and this is where I'm checking further changes. If a nation is player controlled, decrease that nation's fervour by 1. So Germany, Austria and Spain, their fervour all goes down by 1. So Spain, Austria and Germany. If a nation has only French or French allied units in it, it's French controlled and increase their fervour by 1. So France, which is at the maximum, and Italy. So Italy goes up to 15. There is another effect if Napoleon's on the board, but turn 1, Napoleon's not around. So we now start, all red diplomats are now placed face up in the London box. So the reason it says face up is there are a number of events that make turn these face down and they're not available. No delay. French casualties, they can lose French casualties, they can lose permanently, but there isn't any anyway, so you'll see that in terms to come. From the casualties box, from all nation box, including Portugal, you must now remove all core units of all nationalities. So let's first of all chuck the French back in the box. We will only get one turn in, by the way, because we're already at 50 minutes and I've still got a little bit to do on this turn. I mean, I have been explaining, as you know, but this is where the 10 minutes, you don't get a turn done in 10 minutes. We will start to speak through them later. So there you go. Now, all the coalition units go back in here, except you have an option with the duchy ones. The duchy forces here. You can leave them on the board, which means you don't have to pay the pound each time to put them on. The reason that's not always a good idea is because they can't move. They've got to stay in Spain now they're there. But I'm going to do that. The Emigre and Royalist ones go back into their box down there. They do come back into play at later times due to events, but I can't use those. Then we've got everything. I've got a tendency to leave units on the board. No, they're all off. If there was a diplomat in France and the Paris marker's not there, they will go back to the hotel as well. And we can now transfer funds from the minor war fund to the treasury. Obviously, remember, I can't take money out of the Admiralty. Now, I am going to do this. I'm going to drop the minor war fund down by 2 and increase that by 2, just in case, because we're coming to the accidents phase. And sometimes you do have to pay things, so I want a bit of money there. So, the accident phase now, it was all on this. And roll 1 die on turn 1, roll 2, once Napoleon is crowned emperor. And there's 3 different Napoleonic counters, I'll just explain. Young Napoleon, what about Napoleon the Emperor, and the Old Man. So that B1 will come into play very soon. So I'm going to roll 1 die. Oh. I got a 3. So 3. So we read off all these events here. And they are in this book. So the first one is the Barbary Pirates. If the Royal Navy or French fleet are in the high seas box, flip it to nobody rules the waves. No, flip it, nobody rules the waves next turn. That is this. So you get an advantage if you're in control of the high seas in minor wars. That's not going to happen this turn. So the next one on the 3 is French intrigues abroad. Flip either Castlereagh or Metternich face down. He can't be used next turn. As I say, there's no difference between them. So, but these are the 4-rated ones. So he's not going to get used. So we've only got 3 diplomats next turn. Cultural icon. If any cultural icon remains in the counter tray, which they do, select one randomly and reveal him, then place him in his nation. They all have a specific nation. He remains there until he defects to the coalition, which is something we have to try and achieve. Beethoven was actually German, but like every serious composer, he lived in Vienna, the Nashville of classical music. So, see, cultural icons. I don't know what any of that, so we'll take that one. Check Goethe, who is in Germany. I don't know if I've probably not pronounced that right. Goethe. Showing my ignorance of classical whatever, because I don't know who he is. That's all. Yeah, so he stays there. I'll put him just up there, actually. He stays there until we can move him out. All of these 4 had a lot of sway, and they began as advocates of Napoleon, and over time they went against him. So that's what they represent in the game. So we will at some point try to move them into the London icon, into the London marker. That it's just a figure that they say that they're in favour of the coalition, not that they actually moved to London. So look, nationalism. French patriotism backfires as other Europeans realise they can be patriotic too. Roll for a random nation. Decrease further by by 2 in the nation rolled, unless the nation rolled is France, in which case increase further in France. In addition, there's no ATAT markers out yet, so we'll talk about that later. There are actually 1 or 2 ambiguous rules, which if they come out, I'll talk about. There's one actually that's been answered on Board Game Geek and it's still ambiguous. So anyway, let's roll for the nation. And it's 1, it's France. So, what did I just say about that? We increase it by 1, but there's 16, so we don't. It stays as it is. So no effect there. XYZ affair. This is the strange one. This may successfully occur only once. Revolutionary France and the United States nearly came to blows over French piracy in American Wars. Roll a die only once per game. On a 6, the quasi-war escalates. Move the Napoleon abdicates. Marker 1 box up close to abdication. Discard the USA minor war chip. If not already played, it can never occur. You may have to fish it out of the High Politics Cup if it's there. Well, it's not in there. But it says it can successfully occur only once and then roll a die only once per game. Now, it seems as though you can roll more than once. If it comes up again, you roll again, and then if it occurs, obviously it can't occur again, which fits in with Mrs. Thatcher's War when that sort of event happens and certain other events in here. So that's the way I'm playing it. And if you want to look on Board Game Geek, it is a subject of confusion and people are tending to play it the way I'm playing it as well. So if it's wrong, it's wrong, but nobody seems to know for definite. As I say, Ben Madison's actually answered, but it didn't really clarify. it was still blurry, his answer. So that's what we're doing. But anyway, you never know. We might roll a 6 this time and it doesn't come into effect. But look out for that if you get the game. And it's 2, so it's not happened. Peace of Basel is the next one. This event occurs if there are no duchy forces in Germany when this is rolled. Well, there isn't. Prussia surrenders and the Peace of Basel blocking scroll is placed immediately in the Prussia status box. This event may successfully occur only once. So I'm going to make a note of that peace has occurred. So this isn't good. So Prussia has surrendered. Remember I said same as being neutral, remember? That means their forces have gone. So we are very weak at the moment. We need to get them back on board as soon as we can. But here's the problem. This blocking scroll goes here and we can't move that. So like Russia, we can't try and align them. So we can't bring Prussia back into the coalition at the moment, not ourselves. We've got to wait for an event to occur that helps us with that. So that's not good. What I should have done, rookie error because I've only played the game twice, I should have had some forces. Remember I did have some Dutch forces and I should have put some in there and then that would have saved us. But I didn't. And that could be costly. Irreligious fanaticism. So, depending what we are. Well, at the moment, France is atheist. In the name of the cult of reason, the French government persecutes religion in an effort to de-Christianise France. Churches are closed, public worship is considered illegal, is rendered illegal, and thousands of priests, nuns and believers are drowned, shot or guillotined during the infamous terror. So you place the terror marker in the France green box. If it's not already there, it is there. Place the Royalist Corps in France. We'll be doing that. Place both Emigre Corps in Germany free of charge. And reduce further in France by 1 and reduce it in all other nations by 2. So that's not bad. So the Emigre, the Royalists, you can see the terror markers in there already. And we reduce further by 1 in France, 2 in Italy, 2 in Austria, 2 in Spain, 2 in Germany. Not bad, we're getting it. Spain down well at the moment. That is everything now, I think. You know what? And now the last one is the Reign of Terror. If the terror marker is on the map, which it is, roll a random nation and reduce further in that nation by a die roll. Well, that's all right. So let's roll to see which nation. It's a 4. So that's Italy. And then we roll. Italy goes down by 5. Brilliant. So Italy goes down to 8. And that is the last of the accidents. And that is the end of the turn. So we move the game turn to 2. And we'll stop it there because I've already gone way over. I mean, an hour, which I like to be about 40 minutes for an episode. But hopefully it's given you a good explanation. Now, I'll try to get some more uploaded tomorrow. Maybe 2 or 3 more videos. Hopefully get it finished, but if I don't, it might be a bit of time because I'm working away next week. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. So thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this and you don't subscribe, please subscribe and like the video if you have enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow with the next turn and we'll see how we go. Thank you again.